Most project managers don't have formal education, so they have to Google bits and pieces of project management all over the internet. That's why on this channel I share my practical knowledge and insights on project management that work in the real world, so that you can deliver your projects on time and within budget. So here's a critical problem. You cannot learn and apply a perfect project management approach. No certification or degree will ever provide it to you. Instead, you continuously learn to do your projects better and better. However, I understand how stressful it is to do it through trial and error. That's why let me share 5 valuable insights that can dramatically improve your work. Implementing just one of them will make you a better project manager. Okay, first of all, as an IT project manager, I use technologies a lot. And I'm not talking about just project management software. We all know that applications like MS Project or Jira can help you manage a project. But if you are the only person with access to MS Project, your plan provides limited benefits. It's not enough to create and visualize your schedule. Instead, you want to collaborate with your team and stakeholders on all your documents and tools. That's why you need a tool that your whole team can use. However, as always, there is a catch. There is no universal application that will fit all sizes and needs, so I can't give you an ultimate recommendation. Instead, you need to choose one that focuses on the capabilities you need the most for your project. And spoiler, MS Project might not be the best option for your case. So let me give you some examples here. For instance, your project has lots of documentation created in Word, Excel or PowerPoint. It goes without saying that you should not keep all those documents in email threads. Instead, you want to store them in an organized space where people can find them. But beyond that, you may benefit from, for example, using a service called Box. It allows you to store and manage all this documentation in a streamlined way. However, if you need to work on those documents together with the team and you need to communicate a lot, and I mean beyond the simple commands, then you need to check whether MS Teams or Slack is a good choice. Such tools allow you to communicate in the context of a document or a task. On the other hand, if you have a fast-paced project where task tracking and alignment are more important, you need to consider something like ClickUp. And by the way, ClickUp is my #1 recommendation. I'll leave you a link in the description, check it out after this video. So apps like ClickUp allow you to organize a transparent project environment. And if we talk about MS Project, Wrike or Merlin Project, they're suitable for projects where you can and need to plan out the whole project's lifecycle. And usually such projects are slower, so rapid communication and alignment are not the first priority for you. Okay, we're moving on to the second insight. In the IT industry, we use retrospectives a lot. A retrospective is a process that comes from Scrum framework. In essence, it's a collect lessons learned process. And in practice, it's just a meeting where the whole team discusses what they did well, what didn't work out as expected, and so on. There are different ways you can organize these retros. But here's the critical aspect. In the IT industry, we run retrospective meetings continuously every 2 or 3 weeks. As a result, you can make minor improvements to the project management approach on a regular basis. Also, all these improvements apply to the upcoming work right away, so you don't need to wait until the next project. But the very best thing about retrospectives is that the team and stakeholders drive these changes, and you know how important it is. So it's a process that I recommend to investigate. See if you can incorporate it in your industry and niche, at least somehow. No doubt, it will improve your project management. And by the way, talking about improvements, if you want to help other project managers, please click the like button. This way, more managers will see this video. Okay, let's move on to the third insight, and it's huge. You see, IT project managers have to invest a lot of energy into motivation and leadership. In the IT industry, a project manager cannot be the smartest person on the team, otherwise the project is doomed. So instead, we encourage our smart people to be really smart. And the goal is to create an environment where people take ownership of a problem. As a result, they drive the required activities, including identifying the best solution. So, how can you empower people to be innovative and motivate them to put their heart and soul into your project? I recommend that you do it the same way managers at Google do it, and in practice, it all starts with a professional development plan. First of all, career development is the most powerful technique to motivate a person that I know of. And second, it helps people develop the required skills to own a problem on your project end to end. On the one hand, I encourage them to develop their technical skills to get promotions and salary raises. From the other hand, I teach them leadership skills, how to resolve conflicts, and productivity tips and tricks. After that, I start delegating responsibilities. Notice, not tasks or activities. And also, I continuously support them through all the challenges they encounter in the process. But on top of that, I apply many other techniques to motivate people on daily basis as well. And I totally get it, your industry might be different. For example, you don't have a dedicated team and you work with shared resources. Or you work with vendors most of the time. So it may feel like this approach doesn't apply in your case because you're not responsible for the work of others. But hear me out. You are responsible for finishing a project on time and within budget. So you do need to help people outside of your organization to do their work better. Why? Because blaming others for the failure of your project won't make you a world-class project manager. On the contrary, in most cases, your company actually expects you to do everything possible to lead the project to success. Okay, we're switching gears, and here's what I want you to think about next. For example, we have a project team. This team works on a project for one client. As a result, this team gained lots of knowledge about the industry and the product they developed. Additionally, everyone learned how to collaborate effectively with each other, and hopefully you gain some trust from clients. So the question is, should we release the team and start a new project for another client? Or is it better to keep the team and do the next project for the same client with all the benefits I just mentioned? As you understand, in the IT industry, we keep working with the same clients developing their products for years. And here's how I do it. But first of all, I try to keep to the initial goals of a project as much as possible. You must not allow the project to bloat. That is why you should always focus the project team's effort on delivering value. And ideally, clients should be able to make profit from the products or services you created for them as soon as possible. But nevertheless, at the same time, we generate new ideas and improvements for this product or service, or even we suggest a new product to develop. So sooner or later, we create enough scope of work for the whole new project. For example, you can collect ideas that clients have, but they are not aligned with the business objective of the current project. Or for example, you can collect improvements and change requests you decided to postpone because the priority is to meet the deadlines. Of course, there is a challenge. Your clients need to enjoy working with you and your team, and it's your responsibility to understand what they actually value the most in your collaboration. Oh, by the way, I do have a great article with lots of tips on this topic. I'll leave you a link below this video. So as a result, we do projects in series. I try to do my best to form the scope of the next project well before the end of the current one. And think about it, this approach helps your company to get a predictable stream of income, and you don't need to worry about releasing people from the project or terminating their contracts. So, as a project manager, I challenge you to think about possible ways you can generate new ideas and scope of work for your current clients. And actually, I would like to know about your ideas. Please pause the video and share your insights on generating additional scope in your industry. Write them in the comments below. Thank you in advance. Let's move to the fifth insight that will make you a great project manager. You see, in the IT industry, we often lead cross-functional teams. It means that IT project managers have to use different project management approaches and agile frameworks. For example, the engineering team will work with Scrum. However, the UI design team will not use any framework at all, and you must create a lightweight management approach for them. And likewise, in most cases, agile frameworks are not sufficient for bigger companies. Therefore, we must use plan-driven approaches to plan the project's timeline as well. So, to be a great project manager, you should know how to mix and customize frameworks to the needs of your current project. But you need an in-depth understanding of how project management works as a system so that you don't break some critical connection between processes. And the good news is that I have a video that explains the whole project management approach that works in the real world. So you don't need to spend hundreds of hours Googling and putting it all together. All you need to do is to click this video and watch my full tutorial on project management. Click on the video now because I'm waiting for you there to continue our conversation.